Okay, I'm gonna swap out this ballast light with LEDs. I've just taken the cover, or turned off the light, of course, taken the cover out of the middle. I'm gonna cut this board out, and because I've done several of these now, I know I'm not going to use this. I'm going to leave enough on there to put a wing nut or some tape on, because that's going to be my hot side, just because it has the red. And then just go across and cut the rest of this board out. Now a lot of people say unscrew the box and take it out and drill out the rivets to get this board out. I am just going to pry it out of there. I really don't want to go through taking everything out and doing that. So I just have a long screwdriver. I can get under there and break it down from that side, and then grab a pair of needle nose and twist it back. And I think on most of these I'm leaving a heat sink or something, but it's not connected to anything, so it's not a problem. And I've cut one off of here. These two units are tied together with the red wire already. And these are actually ran two together here, so this is where it's coming in the main, and then it's feeding over to this other light. So there's a couple wires there. A lot of times there'll just be a hot and a ground coming in, or a positive and a negative. So I'm not going to need this switch on this. There's a big piece that goes up over it, so I've been just disconnecting the switches. Kind of useless anyway, because I'm not going to take off that whole cover on my ceiling to get to the switch. And then on this hot side, it actually gives me enough to tie these two together. Snip off that end. Get my wire strippers. And I'm using these, to be honest, I'm not even sure what they're called. They're the newer type of wire connectors. They come in pretty handy. You just flip these up, these little tabs, stick your wire in there and your other wire there, and it connects them. I have a whole box here that will connect 2 or 3 or 4 wires together. I know a lot of people who do vans use them. So I put it in there and make sure it's tight. And so that was my hot, or positive. And now I'm going to take this off my ground. Actually on this one I'm not. On the other ones I took it off the ground and I just tied these. I tied 3 of them together with this wire nut. But I don't want to put 4 wires in that nut. So I'm going to go ahead and keep this white wire and use one of my 3-ways and connect the grounds. The other grounds I'm just going to cut really close. I only need 2. There's 2 wires coming off each of the things that hold the bulb. I only need 1 wire on each, so I'm going to cut one side off on each. And since this is ground, I'm just cutting them really close. to that fixture, and I am going to put a little piece of tape over it, but it's ground. If it hits the box, it shouldn't be a problem. But just so I'm just going to put a little piece of electrical tape over that on each side. They're not going to be used, but again, it's ground. It's going to be tied to ground. If it touches this case, it's not a big deal. I'm sure the case is grounded. And then on this side, I actually have a small wing nut. On some of them I've been just using the electrical tape, but I would rather, since it's hot, it's going to have a hot on it, put a little wire nut on there and keep it from coming in contact. It's not going to come off very easy. Okay, now I'm coming back over to my grounds, cutting these down, and those little things, you can look on the side, and they usually have how long you're supposed to trim the wire to, but I've been doing this for a little bit now, and I think I have a pretty good feel for it. So I do double check to make sure I've got a good connection. Okay, just open these little guys up. There's 3 of them. My ground coming from the RV, and then go into each of these. And every time I put it in there, I give it a good tug, and I check them before I close this up. And this one I'm just going to stick back over here because I have to put that case back on. Alright, and that should be it. Make sure everything's tightened up. In there. One of these, I'm going to push this other ground over here too, just to take it a different way. It's competing with the hot there. Just get it out of the way. So just kind of shoved those back up in there. Make sure everything's still tight. Really, you could leave this off, but I don't want to see it under my light. With my light bulb shining bright, I'm sure it would be visible. And you don't want to pinch your wires because this is a sharp metal edge here. I'm trying to be careful not to pinch the wires in there. Alright, there we go. Alright, it's up there. Now I get my tube lights. You could just use those strip lights too, but I don't think that would look as good, to be honest. Alright, and this was my positive side, so on each of these I'm going to put a plus, so when we have to switch light bulbs, it just reminds us these bulbs are sensitive and actually have on the bulb the negative and positive. So of course the first one took much longer than this. This is, I don't know, probably the 8th one I've done, 9th maybe. Alright, and then I'm going to try the switch. Oops, wrong switch. And there we have it. New LEDs. And this is the big kitchen. So there's 6 of them in here. Really put off some light. All right, have a great day.